Okay, so this may be the happiest I've ever been to decide not to record an episode on a Sunday and record it later on in the week because, oh my gosh, so much has happened within the last week. It's not even funny. So let's get into what exactly has been going on, and then we'll also talk about the game. And right at the end, to wrap it all up, we're going to talk about head coaching candidates. Now, I know that that may be a little bit harsh to do right now. I know that, but honestly, like I was probably going to leave this off after this last week, not because Callahan was any better. Oh no, the exact opposite of that. But no, I was thinking about leaving it off just to be a little bit more respectful, if you will. But honestly, with one of these things that happened with the big news, that is, I think it's very obvious that Callie's on his way out the door at this point. So, anyway, let's get into today's episode. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey. And hello to Thunder Radio. Hello to everybody on podcasting. Hello to everybody on YouTube. I know that you can see me waving right now. Okay, so we got a lot to get into today. Okay, there is some really bad news and there's some really good news for the Tennessee Titans. Now, the question is, which one am I going to start out with? Well, I'd like to start out with the bad news first, just because I want to get that out of the way, get the sadness out of the way, if you will. So let's talk about it. Bad news is Jarvis Brownlee Jr., as of me recording this video, like it just happened like maybe an hour ago at this point. Yeah, something like that. Was traded to the New York Jets for a 7th-round pick and a 6th-round pick swap. Now, gosh, I don't even know where to start with this. Look, I want to start out by saying the Jets, if there are any Jets fans in this audience, there are probably not, but if there are any Jets fans in this audience, y'all got an absolute dog, okay? This dude is an absolute beast. He's really aggressive. He plays hard. You've got a good player, to say the least, and I think Aaron Glenn will mold him into something even better than he already has been, all right? Getting that out of the way, I'd like to ask one question. Why? Like, why did we do this? He's such like a young developmental piece. He's looked really good every time that he's played. I don't understand the idea behind this just because of the youth behind it. If this was like L'Jarius Sneed, I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, getting somebody out, that's fine, right? But gosh, why on earth do we trade Jarvis Brownlee Jr.? I don't get it. A 25-year-old cornerback who's looked really good. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I've heard this conflicting rumor. Actually, Teron Davenport reposted one of the quotes from Denard Wilson after week 2. Was it because he was too penalty happy and too aggressive? And that kind of led to the Titans being like, okay, we can't fix that, so let's just trade him. Like, what was the main idea behind that? I mean, that's my guess for what it was, but there may be more stuff. Maybe he was a locker room cancer, and we just don't know about it. Maybe he is going to have some serious injury history after this last thing. Now, here's the thing. I trust this staff, specifically whenever it comes to the GM, a little bit more than I do somebody like John Robinson or Rand Carthen. So I'm not going to get too upset about this just yet, unlike some of the Titans fans that I do know that, like, I went on to Twitter immediately after school and I just saw everybody was just losing their minds over the fact that we traded Jarvis Brownlee Jr. and not for that much at that. I'm not going to panic just yet. I want to see how he does in New York. If he's balling, then I will pinpoint this moment and be like, hey, that was a really bad move by this front office. And I'm not too sure. Like, I'm hoping that doesn't incite bad things in the future. But anyway, I do want to end off with this, with the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. news. No one, and I mean no one, is safe from this. Okay, you better start selling your Big Jeff jerseys right now if you do have them, because I do think Big Jeff may be next. And we're going to get some good stuff out of him. I don't like that, but it's the truth. Big Jeff may be gone. Let me try and think. Who else is there? That L'Jarius Sneed may very well be gone. Calvin Ridley is definitely gone. I got a very strong feeling about that. Like, there are going to be a lot of people going over the next little bit. And honestly, I guess it's better for the rebuild, but golly, it's going to hurt. But still, even with those three potentially being traded, I still will not understand the logic behind the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. one unless it does come out that his injury was really bad, he's locker room cancer, or it ends up being that he was always too aggressive and that his penalties are always going to hold him back. Unless one of those three things is true, I will not understand the Jarvis Brownlee Jr. trade, because the other three, it's just like, okay, they're vets. They probably want to try and go after a ring anyway. It's probably better for the Titans organization that they're gone, or at least that we get draft picks out of them. But I just really do not get Jarvis Brownlee, man. He would have been such a solid building block too. Like, that's the really unfortunate thing, is that I think that he would have been one of the future like faces of the franchise. But anyway, that's the bad news out of the way. Now the good news. Brian Callahan has given up play calling duties. Now, obviously, that's not like amazing news, because it's just like, okay, he probably gave them up to Nick Coles or Mike McCoy. So like, what's really going to change? Like, this offense is going to still be terrible. Well, I'm happy to inform that the new Titans play caller is Bo Hardegree. Okay, now most people probably don't know anything about that name. They're like, who is this guy? Well, I'll like to inform you, he's the quarterback's coach. That's the first thing. Yeah, no, he's the quarterback's coach. He's gotten a lot of time with Cam, so I'm sure that he knows what Cam's biggest strengths and weaknesses are, and he'll know how to call around those. That's the first thing. But the second thing, and this is the thing that I really like, and I actually do have a Raiders fan who watches the show, so if you want to comment in on this, now's the best time. But he was absolutely great in Vegas the 1 year that he was there. I think that like he is one of the more underrated offensive minds in the league, and I do think that if he gets an offensive coordinator job, that he will soar with it. But that's neither here nor there. Here's the thing, right? Whenever he was the offensive coordinator, that team looked really solid on offense, and it's just really shocking. Honestly, they've taken a real downhill spiral whenever it comes to how they have called the offense. And he made the Raiders, again, look really good. Like, all of their stats were significantly improved after he took over play calling duties on the offense. And here's the biggest thing. He did that all with a rookie, Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell is doing nothing right now. He's still riding the bench behind Geno Smith right now over in Las Vegas. He is not really all that amazing, if I'm being honest. Like, again, he's just not that great. And this dude, Bo Hardegree, was able to get something out of him. Now imagine what he's going to be able to do with another rookie quarterback that was the first overall pick, is significantly more talented than an Aiden O'Connell, and is just really, like, again, has really been held back by his play calling. Like, imagine what he's going to do then. And also, I do want to say this was a great choice, not because of who it was, even though I do think that that's pretty great by itself, but it's because of who it wasn't. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right? We could have had either Mike McCoy or Nick Coles calling plays. Either of them would have been like understandable, but I would have been disappointed, right? Nick Coles has never called plays. I mean, like, that would just be career suicide. Mike McCoy, even though he has called plays, he seems like that he's just a little older, and probably the NFL has probably passed him a little bit, at least whenever it comes to offense. But anyway, yeah, golly, I'm very happy that Bo Hardegree got picked over those guys. Now, do I think this will save Brian Callahan's job? Probably not. I mean, if I had to take a guess. Now, who knows? Maybe giving up play calling duties to Bo Hardegree ends up making his clock management better, his game management, his feel overall better. Do I think that'll happen? Not at all. I think that his feel will stay about the same, and that he'll do it's still pretty bad. I think that Bo Hardegree takes over the play calling duties for like 1 week, and then Brian Callahan gets fired. Bo Hardegree gets promoted to offensive coordinator. John Fassel ends up being the interim head coach, and then defensive coordinator probably stays Denard Wilson, if I had to guess. So, gosh, again, like, this will not save Brian Callahan's job. I'm very confident of it. I do think that Bo Hardegree takes the offense into a better step in the right direction. I don't think that he does enough, again, to save Callie's job, because I still think that Callie will botch up everything else that is involved with the head coaching job. And at this point, he just becomes kind of useless. That's the truth. Like, the whole point of him coming in was that he was going to finally be able to call some good plays. He was able to be creative with the offensive play calling, and that he was going to be able to get the quarterback to be the best that he could be, and that he was also supposed to be this like really great play designer. None of those things are true, and he's not a play caller. All of those things combined, yeah, no, this is not saving Callie's job. I hate to say that to everybody, but it's just the 100% truth. Actually, well, yeah, I do hate to say that to everybody. I never like whenever a man loses his job, but I know that there are probably some people that are very happy to hear me say that. Anyway, now we got to get into, but overall, wait, hold on. Before I do that, wrapping this up, overall, I think Bo Hardegree's a really good play caller, but I do think that Brian Callahan is still going to hold back this team, and until he gets fired, I really do think that this team is just going to stay the same for like 1 or 2 more weeks, depending on when Callie goes. Like, if Callie goes sooner rather than later, I 100% believe that the team will take a big improvement under Fassel, especially if he gets promoted as interim head coach. Like, if he gets promoted, then I think that the team will probably get better. I think that they actually stay pretty competitive in most games, and I actually do think that they will pull off an upset or two. But again, overall, just not going to save Callie, but pretty optimistic about how Hardegree is going to do. Anyway, now let's go on to week 3 versus the Indianapolis Colts. I've spent most of my episode time on this. So again, we're going to run through this pretty quickly just because, again, you saw the game. You know how it went. It was really bad. One of the worst losses in Titans history, at least since I've been alive. So anyway, positives, Cam Ward. This one was pretty obvious for anybody that watched the game. If you saw the pick 6, that's not the full story. After that, he ended up playing a really solid football game overall, and I'm really excited to see what he does over the next couple of weeks. That's really about it for Cam Ward. I'm excited to see how he does with somebody else's as play caller that's not named Brian Callahan, especially somebody that's actually had some pretty good experience play calling in the past. Again, Cam Ward is being held back, but I do think that you will see a monster next week. Do I think I heard something about like somebody saying that next week could be Cam Ward's worst football game? I don't think it will be. Do I think that the defense will actually do pretty well against them? Yes. Do I think that Cam Ward will turn the ball over? 100%. Do I think that Cam Ward will play his worst game? Probably not. I actually think that he'll still, even with the turnover and with some bad moments, will actually play a really solid game. It maybe it's his worst, but I don't think that it will be like significantly worse than anything else. I still think that he ends up playing a solid game. So again, Cam Ward, really excited to see with a new offensive play caller. My next positive is the O-line. This one was shocking. I was not expecting to put these guys on here. I was going into the week, at least. I wasn't expecting to put these guys on here through the first 5 minutes of the first quarter, but the O-line didn't play that bad, and the entire right side of it was completely hurt. Like, Dan Moore finally held his own. Skronsky is Skronsky. Same thing with Lloyd Cushenberry. But then the right side was very surprising. Now, does some of this have to do with the fact that the Colts are not really known for their pass rushing capabilities? Yes, 100% it does. But I do 100% believe that the left side of the O-line, at least, is going to start improving. Like, I know that people want to keep on giving Dan Moore crap and be like, we were right, he was a waste of money and all this stuff. But I do think that Dan Moore will actually end up being average. Do I think he'll end up being like amazing or even worth that contract? Probably not, but I do think that he can end up being average, which honestly for a left tackle would be absolutely amazing. And then once Latham and Zeitler get back, I actually do think that this O-line will gradually improve as the year goes on. All right, next positive is Alec Eomanor. Okay, this one was also obvious to anybody that watched the game. He's Cam Ward's favorite target right now, if I had to take a guess. He's just so good. Like, dude, I'm just really happy to say that, again, Alec Eomanor is an absolute dog, and I'm really excited to watch him for the next couple of years. He actually bailed out Cam Ward on one of his throws whenever he was trying to throw away the football, but it ended up in Alec Eomanor's hands. Like, he bailed him out there. Again, he's shown some very solid moments route running. He has very solid hands. Yeah, very, very solid hands overall. just like overall, that's a dude I'm really excited to watch over the next couple of years. Now let's get into the negatives, starting out with the Titans' defensive line. Okay, I don't need to dwell on this too much. You know it. I know it. The Titans' defensive line is absolutely terrible, especially whenever it comes to the pass rush. The pass rush is absolutely just horrifyingly bad. Like, man, we can't get pressure on anybody. Like, sometimes Big Jeff will have some good moments, and I actually do think that Big Jeff has gotten better as a pass rusher over the offseason. It's just that two things. One, he doesn't have T'Vondre Sweat beside him, which we do have to consider that T'Vondre Sweat is currently out and on IR right now, which could end up leading to the D-line just not really being that good this year, even in run protection. But, like, again, defensive line developing no pressure. Draymond Jones forgot he was even on the roster. Same thing with Arden Key. Draymond Jones has been a huge disappointment for me. Like, I was actually really excited to see him this year because of his pass rush win rate. It was that combined with the fact that I felt like that he was one of those dudes, those veterans that really hadn't gotten a fair chance. And now he's finally getting his chance with Tennessee, and he could end up being a low-key decent pass rusher. But it ended up not being the case. He's still really not that good at pass rushing, and again, just overall, not really great. Femi Oladejo, he's a project, so he's not really going to be that good for a while, if I had to take a guess, or at least until like the very end of the season. So like overall, defensive line. Anyway, next thing is the secondary. Yeah, Amani Hooker wasn't really that great. L'Jarius Sneed was buttery garbage. Like, oh my gosh, he was bad in this game. Roger McCreary wasn't that bad. Again, Roger McCreary continues to be a very solid player on a not so solid team. He may end up getting traded. Who knows with what we're doing on the trade block. And Darrell Baker just wasn't really that great, but we were expecting it. It's Darrell Baker. Come on. Xavier Woods didn't really play that great either. So, again, just a really not good performance by the secondary. I mean, there were some throws that Danny threw. Like, look, there were some throws. Don't get me wrong. Danny looked really good. And there were some throws that he threw that were just absolute dimes that he can't do anything about. But there were also some throws that I felt like, if better defended, could have been easily batted down. That's the truth. Next thing is Cody Barton. Linebacker core wasn't terrible today, but Cody Barton, or yesterday, or 2 days ago, actually, like Cody Barton was just not really that good. I mean, there were runs breaking through left and right during that second half. That could also be credited to the D-line, but also there were open receivers down the middle all day. Like, just like overall, not really the best look for Cody Barton. And also, judging by the fact that he is the team captain of the defense and the defense played really bad today, that's not a good look for you as a leader who is trying to get you guys motivated. Now, obviously, you could also put this on Denard Wilson. Trust me, we'll get to that. But again, just not really a good game by Cody Barton. Next negative, every other receiver except for Alec Eomanor, obviously, because I mentioned him as a positive. But I want to specifically hone in on Calvin Ridley because, okay, Tyler Lockett, we weren't expecting him to do that much. He may get, a check down every now and again and not really do that much else. Chimere DK, I didn't put him in the positives. But, again, he's just kind of, he's a good gadget player, but he's not, an amazing receiver or anything. And then everybody else is almost irrelevant. I love Bryce Oliver. He's a great special teams player, but kind of irrelevant. But Calvin Ridley, he's got some serious mental problems going on, man. I don't know what's going on with that dude. He can't catch a football. The one football that he did catch may have been something that I could have caught. I do not understand what is going on with Calvin Ridley right now. He needs to go see a sports psychiatrist or something because every time the good ball is thrown his way, he somehow finds a way to drop it right now. And here's the thing, were some of those catches that he didn't come down with tough? 100%. There is no shame in dropping a couple of those passes. Dropping nearly every single one of them, though, whenever you're getting paid $92 million overall to be a good receiver, yeah, that's not good. He needs to improve. He needs to start catching the football a little bit more. Again, if he could just catch the football, I actually think that Cam Ward's weapons aren't really that bad. Yeah, I said it. Look, I think that Tyler Lockett, again, is just serviceable as like a check down guy that like you don't give the ball that much to, but whenever you do, he's your last resort. And Alec Manor, again, has proved to be an absolute steal in the draft, but gosh, again, like Calvin Ridley has dropped the ball. Get it? Like he's dropped the ball whenever it comes to being a productive receiver and being a veteran presence for Cam Ward to trust. Cam Ward, I don't even know if he trusts him anymore. Like he's tried to get the ball to him, but every time Calvin Ridley just keeps on dropping it, keeps on dropping it, and keeps on dropping it. I'm not even too sure if Cam Ward wants to throw the ball to him. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if next week he goes with barely any targets at all. Golly, that's really frustrating. All right, last thing is the coaching staff. I mean, obviously, I already touched on Denard Wilson, really. I mean, his defense just did not show up today. I still don't think that he's that bad. Like, I saw some people really overreacting on Twitter about, like, how terrible Denard Wilson was, and he's just as bad as Callahan. But the truth is, I actually think that Denard Wilson is a pretty decent defensive coordinator. It's just that he's been stuck with a really bad football team. So again, I really do hope that he does like that his team gets rejuvenated with a new interim head coach, and also that Denard Wilson does stay as DC and has those same solid players for a couple of more games to show, hey, this guy actually is worth something on the defensive side. Now, obviously, if we were to hire a defensive head coach, if Callahan were to get fired, wink, wink, but if Callahan were to get fired, then if we hired a defensive coach, he's probably gone. But if we hired an offensive coach, I wouldn't mind hiring inside and keeping Denard Wilson as our defensive coordinator. I really wouldn't. But also, again, Callie just not really getting it done. You've probably heard about the sequence right at the end of the half. Again, he blamed it on the ball boy, but like you can't be doing that as a football team. And again, I just don't know how to describe it anymore, man. Callie is just not really good at managing the game. He's not a great play caller. Just overall, not really a good head coach. And golly, I'm hoping, and we'll see what happens. But judging by what Jim Wyatt has been allowed to talk about with him, I just don't think that he's going to make it too much longer. And I hate it for the guy because he does seem like a good guy, even if he is a bit like, even if he does have his moments, he still seems like a decent guy overall. But anyway, oh, wait, hold on. I wanted to mention this about them. Obviously, y'all have seen the Michael Pittman quote about like how the team just did not look energized. They looked really sluggish and how they knew immediately that they were going to beat the Titans that day. But here's something that I wanted to point out. Big Jeff didn't do the scream. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, well, for explanation, every time that Big Jeff runs out of the tunnel to greet the Titans fans, he lets out a big old battle cry. He goes, ah. he does like that little motion right there and then just screams at the top of his lungs. He's always hyped. He runs straight out of the tunnel and gets everybody else hyped up, right? He didn't do that this game, and that was just something that I noticed. It may be minor, and it probably doesn't matter in the end, but something I noticed. Okay. Again, I'm going to rush through this coaching list just because, again, I do want to, like, I don't want to, like, just go on, like, just a fanboy thing like I did with Joe Brady a couple of weeks ago, if y'all remember that. But we're going to go through this quick, except for number one, because I may elaborate, maybe except for 2 and 1, because I'll elaborate on some ideas for assistant coaches. But anyway, number 5, Clint Kubiak, offense coordinator for the Seahawks. Again, Sam Darnold didn't look that bad last week. The offense didn't look that bad last week. Obviously, they were carried by their special teams and by their defense majorly just in that game. But the offense still played pretty decent overall. So, again, Clint Kubiak, I don't think is that bad of an option. But, again, this is really about the top 4, honestly. My next choice would be Chris Shula, defensive coordinator for the Rams. I do think that he is a solid defensive mind, and I think that if given the chance, he would be a very good head coach, or if he has the chance to be a very good head coach. But again, he doesn't inspire me as much as, again, like the top 3 do. So overall, not really like amazing, but still has the chance to be solid. Number 3, Todd Monken, offensive coordinator for the Ravens. Again, I'm not as high as I was on Todd Monken last week as I am this week, because I did learn during that time that he does have because again, he had some weird play calling moments against the Lions last night, but also combine that with the fact that he has had a head coaching stint before. Now, I'm not saying that any dude that has had a bad head coaching stint before doesn't deserve to be hired somewhere else and given a second chance as a head coach. That's not what I'm saying. But I will say this: I do think that Todd Monken is more of an offensive coordinator, if anything. But again, it is worth looking at because I do think, if anything, he would be great for Cam Ward's development as a quarterback. So overall, I really like Todd Monken as a head coaching option. Number 2, Joe Brady. Again, y'all have heard me just rave about this dude. The only reason that he came down is not because of that lame excuse that everybody comes up with. Oh, he had Josh Allen. Oh, he had Joe Burrow. The one time that he didn't have Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, he wasn't really that great. It's just because, again, same thing with Todd Monken. I feel like that he may just be a coordinator, like a really strong offensive coordinator, but I don't know if he's going to have the personality of a head coach to lead the team into battle every week and get them all hyped up and crazy. Like, that is something that I do worry about. Again, I think he would be better from a leader perspective than Callahan has been, but not by like an intense amount. So, like, again, I don't know. I'm starting to lose a little bit of luster for Joe Brady, but he's still at number 2 for a reason. I still think that he has a chance to be a great head coach. It's just that I do think that he is a very high risk, high reward type of coach. I'm at my number 1. Thanks to Mike Macdonald. I don't know if y'all saw that on my Instagram story, but thanks to Mike Macdonald, Jesse Minter, defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers. Again, I find it ironic that I have 2 defensive coordinators from LA on here. I don't know. I just find that ironic. But again, I want to say this for Joe Brady, just real fast. If he were to get hired, I wouldn't mind if Denard Wilson was brought back in as a defensive coordinator. And here's the thing with Jesse Minter. If Jesse Minter's brought in, I 100% support the idea of keeping Bo Hardegree as the offensive coordinator. Let him get his own plays. Let him run the offense. I think that he would be really solid. And that's really all I wanted to say. But again, Jesse Minter, I don't know. He just, he screams stability. I don't know how to describe it, but he just is a dude that I expect to be a lot like Mike Macdonald. And I really think that he would be a very, very good head coach if he's given the chance. And that's the only one on this list I can say I am 100% confident that he could be a really good head coach. Again, that's really it for today's episode. Again, I have Instagram and Twitter under the Titans Rundown if y'all want to go check those out. And yeah, that's really it. That's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.